I'm sitting there like, man, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Whatever. Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Ask Mathis. I'm your host, Reggie Mathis, and rocking with me is my brother, Wild Man Teddy T, a.k.a. Baron Theo Mound-builder.
Hey, what's going on?
Chilling, man. You know, we just, doing the after briefing still. Just looking to see, what next. If you, we big movie buffs here. If you go back to the movie Pulp Fiction, the scene between Ving Rhames and what's my man Bruce Willis, after they survive the pawn shop, and after they were shooting at each other, and then they ended up in the pawn shop, and they brought out the gimp, and they was pumping Ving in his rear, and Bruce Willis was able to get away. And he went in there and came back in with the sword and saw my man just getting it. And he came in with the sword and, killed everybody. And then before he left, he looked at Ving Rhames. He was like, so what about us? And Ving Rhames looked at him. He was like, ain't no more us. You get gone. And you stay gone. Now, as far as this hillbilly rapist right here, I'm about to call some of my hard-hitting ninjas from the hood. You hear that, rapist? Bruh, that scene right there is tattooed in my, in my mind. So, I haven't heard from the Vice President Kamala at all. But I did see this story, and I see my man Step has it up, which is she is considering a presidential bid for 2028 as well as a gubernatorial bid. Gavin Newsom is the current governor of California.
Trump's son-in-law?
No, Gavin Newsom is not Trump's son-in-law. The governor of California, not his son-in-law.
One of them, somebody over there is.
No, the only son-in-law that's doing anything is Garrett Kushner, who is married to Ivanka.
What's he at?
He collected on them billions, on that billion. Remember he and the wife Ivanka, they made them senior staffers. Made them seniors. I'm like, bro, I ain't never seen that. So we about to witness a whole lot of never seen whatever, man. I'm just
get ready.
bro. I got my popcorn ready, bro. I'm not even. It is what it is, bro. To the victor go the spoils. The man won, and you know what? We get what we deserve. And let's just see. The tariffs, in full effect. Mexico just came out. Here we go again with Mexico. We ain't heard nothing from Mexico since 2016. Come on, we gonna build a wall and Mexico gonna pay for it. We haven't heard anything from them since then. Well, now they back. Not only are they back, but on all the big games, at least that I recall watching the last few weeks, they all been sponsored by avocados from Mexico. So they flexing. So they flexing. Mexico flexing. So they like, and they got a female president. And she says, Mexico could respond to any of Donald Trump's tariffs with tariffs of its own on U.S. products per AP. So that's 75% of our tomatoes and a large portion of our avocados. So for all, today is, for many people, they eat tacos on today. So just think of that.
We have a taco shortage.
Y'all we having y'all we eat beef and shells. And no No avocado, no guacamole.
You might have to go to Sloppy Joe's.
Right. No guacamole. So, we'll see, bro. I'm definitely not rooting against the country, man. I hope he comes in there. I hope he's great. I hope he's phenomenal. But here you go. This is what the lady basically said, what I just said. Y'all just want to hear it. We can go to the next story. But y'all go ahead and hear the lady. It never hurt when the lady said it.
In a sense, it may be unexpected to Americans who thought Trump was going to lower their prices. Because if you voted for Trump because you thought he was going to bring grocery prices down, I have some very bad news for you. A lot of our produce comes from Mexico. 2/3 of the tomatoes that Americans purchase are from Mexico. 90% of the avocados that they purchase are from Mexico, just to mention 2 examples. So that guac is definitely going to cost extra. It is not unexpected in a sense. It may be unexpected to Americans who thought Trump was going to lower their prices. Because if you voted for Trump...
Mm-hmm. So, what else you got there?
They're going to say, well, Trump going to get us the money to pay for it, though.
The tax cuts. Get them tax cuts. Oh, yeah, go back, man. Let's have a little fun, man. So, play this story, man. This is, Tupac, I Get Around.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is, the acknowledgement. Did y'all know that Tupac and Madonna had a fling? You knew that?
I heard that.
Okay, well, this is her acknowledging it.
Times coming to visit me. Madonna has so much power that the guards let me take an extra shower.
Wow.
I had guards walking me downstairs, everything, trying to peep a look.
And did she come?
I was dating Tupac Shakur at the time. I didn't know you dated Tupac.
That was a surprise.
That's never been out there, I don't think.
So he pulls up, but guess who he pulls up with?
Who?
Like a virgin. That's what's on it.
Pac was a very, very close friend of mine. We're sitting in the front row, and Madonna just goes, and I said, what? She goes, oh, God, hey.
When he first got arrested, it's like nobody had his back. It's like the first person who came to have his back was Madonna.
And I said, Pac, Madonna wants to hook up with you. He said, wait. That was it. I had to ask Pac. I was like, so? And he just went, get a good time. He wouldn't tell.
I get him. What you mean you don't know?
Yeah, man. That's, see, I thought Dennis Rodman was the, first high-profile dude, but...
She been with everybody.
I mean, I thought,
She been with everybody. Big Daddy Kane, they all been with Madonna.
Okay, says Teddy T. Says Teddy T.
That's how Big Daddy got into the groove. Get into the groove.
Says Teddy T.
Yeah.
Says Teddy T. Wow. What else you got? Oh, yeah, man. So, here's the story, man. I think Joe Biden is going to commute Hunter Biden's sentence. I don't think he's going to give him a full pardon, but why wouldn't he commute his sentence?
Yeah, it's his son. You might as well.
He promised that he wouldn't pardon him, but I didn't hear about, a commutation. A commutation is what Trump did for Kodak, where you didn't pardon him, but he basically was like, the time that he's served, whatever, that's enough. You done, you finished.
Right.
So a pardon, it comes off your record like it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
But a commutation is just, all right, go, be out.
What about Wayne? Did you pardon Wayne, or you the same thing?
I think he did a commutation on Wayne. I think he did a commutation for Wayne. So, that's what it is. And I was talking to somebody yesterday, man. I can't remember who, bro. My short-term memory is messing up on me, man, right now. I don't know if I got to get one of them new wonder drugs or whatever. But I was talking to somebody yesterday. Oh, yeah, I know who it was. I was talking to one of my good Jewish friends. And he was basically talking about, hopeful, for Trump and that, policy-wise, how he feel like, country's going to be great. And I was just like, man, but black females are the ones who are hurting the most this whole election. Because 9 out of 10 of them voted for her. 9 out of 10. So, You know, he gained in every demographic except for black women. Got black men. He actually won Cubans 54%. You know, he lost Hispanics 35%, but he, you know, still came up from where it was. So that's positive in a, you know, in a certain way, that the country is, you know, with him. But when you're on the wrong side of that, you feeling super bad, because it's you feeling like when you walking out, it's like everybody know you asked this girl to go with you, and she said no, and went with this dude over here. You know, that's she dating buddy. You know what I mean? And it's like you got to come all the time, and everybody's like, you know, wishing them well and wishing them the best. You gotta pass them all the time. You know, so
I think so the word, see, all the black women, they on TikTok.
I ain't on TikTok.
Yeah,
that's what the Chinese say. See, yeah, okay.
So the black women over on TikTok, they're celebrating, saying that Biden appointed 61 African American justices,
judges, maybe, yeah.
Judges, and 39 of them were black women.
Probably, I mean, including the Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, which, you know, is definitely positive, you know, in the sense that he did it, Obama didn't, you know, and given opportunity. So, you know, as that stands, I just feel that black women who, you know, have been at the bottom of society, of American society, for so long, you know, is basically like, you know what, we just gonna take care of ourselves, which, you know, let's hopefully it turns into a positive thing. You know, that
it's been like that. These women since COVID have doubled and tripled their money. A lot of these women is millionaires already.
No, I don't think the ones that's millionaires are the ones that's tripping. No. I think the ones that's out here, you know, that's out here struggling. Yeah. You know, it's not a lot of millionaires in their regards, and they don't even know that this whole thing about abortion, it wasn't even about them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even about them. It's to get the white numbers up. It's to get the white people's numbers up.
A woman just died in Texas taking the pill on her 11th week. And she was a black woman too, the first casualty of war.
Well, like I said, man, those statistics don't get counted, unfortunately, you know, when it comes to black females. And maybe, you know, my little 2 cents is that maybe they'll stop with the, you know, congratulating themselves on Father's Days and, you know, other stuff like that, you know, that our women are notorious for.
Good luck on that.
Are notorious for. It's cut down, at least on my time feed. Because some people always, you know, you can count on a good brother like Torian Bean or James Williams, or, you know, some of those good brothers that put it out in advance. Like, please do not put, you know, Happy Father's Day to your mom, you know, on that day. You know what I mean? Like, please don't go shack on us. My biological didn't bother. Like, don't go shack on us. Like, you know, if your mama was this and that or whatever, then go ham on Mother's Day. Go ham on her birthday. But Father's Day are for biological dads, for men, period. You know, in my book. Shout out to Jack Smith, man, the special prosecutor, who been berated for the last, you know, I don't know how long. He has moved to dismiss the charges in the Trump election and the documents cases. So he's just like, hey, man, hey, y'all don't care, I don't care. It is what it is. Hey, to the victor go the spoils. To the victor go the spoils. Like, that's, you know, that's what it is, man.
For the other case, they said they'll wait till 2029. The other case, one of them said they'll wait to do the judges. Well,
that's the recommendation. The recommendation is that, you know, he gets sentenced in New York after, or either that he gets sentenced, but then it gets suspended until after his term, you know, in office. Which, if they do that, bruh, if they do that, in my mind, it's just coming to my mind, J. Jonah Jameson, the editor at the Daily Bugle with Spider-Man. You know, where Spider-Man worked, Peter Parker. You know what I mean? Where he gonna have a private war against the state of New York the whole time, because they done took his business away, his licenses away, hit him with $500 million in judgments, and they got this, you know, 34 felonies hanging over his head. The man, the man comes out, he'll be 82. Like, what you gonna do with an 82-year-old man? Like, if he does a good job.
Bill went to jail at 80-something, didn't he?
He did.
And he spent a couple years in that job.
He did. Bill Cosby did go to jail as an octogenarian.
That's right.
And right behind him, Harvey Weinstein is in jail right now. So I guess, to your point, Teddy, you know what I mean? Justice waits on no one.
So Trump said it was a waste of
$100 million. Yeah, for the special prosecutor. You know, so it is what it is. It is what it is.
He
So
broke now.
yeah, he gonna get all, because he know he gonna get all. He know he gonna get all that money back.
He's just like,
When you start seeing the billionaires line up all for him, he done already told them. Billionaires don't come out of public. They don't come out in public and put it out there. They like, nah. Like Michael Jordan. Remember when Michael Jordan was in the NBA and they was talking about the sweatshops and how they making, you know, the shoes for Nike? What did he say? Republicans buy my shoes too. So I ain't, you know, hey, I will shut up and dribble. LeBron, on the other hand, when they told him to shut up and dribble, he was, you know, he got in his feelings.
He been quiet this election.
No, he came out. He
At
came.
the very end.
Yeah, he came out at the very end. He should have kept quiet. He really.
I think he just got pressured to do something.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did.
Turn down all the checks.
I'm
Turn down all the checks.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did.
He did like a Obama endorsement. They had to wrench it out.
Yeah, you know, now, you know Obama is probably the happiest man on earth. Like, can we just be 1,000? Can we be 1,000?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we be 1,000? Obama is like the 72 Dolphins. When Kansas City lost last week, the 72 Dolphins,
they popped that champagne.
They popped the champagne and they spark up. You know, Obama was like, you know, in his mind, he probably ain't sharing it. He may not even share it with Michelle.
Still the only one.
But in his mind, he probably, you know, in his room by himself, and he go through look at that mirror when he roll out. Right. Still you, baby. Still you, baby. Still you, boy. Still you. Yeah. You know, probably on his deathbed, he'll probably be with it. But right now, he's like, man, hey, you know what I mean? Like, let me get a few more grades. You know what I mean? Let me become a granddad. Let me, you know what I mean? Let Sasha or Malia get into politics, or maybe Chelsea Clinton. Maybe when one of them come through or whatever, maybe it's time now for one of the girls. But her, not so much. You know what I mean? Not so much.
I don't see that happening
not so much.
in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I don't see anyone as well, sir, unfortunately.
Unless Michelle trying to...
No.
See,
here's the thing about...
Colonel, like, what's the name? What was the dude?
Jeb Bush.
And Colonel Powell. Like, they wanted Colonel Powell.
Yeah, but Colin Powell, the reason why Colin Powell had a better chance than Michelle, because Colin Powell was a Republican, for one, and military, right? He had a better shot. But Colin Powell wife has mental issues,
Mm.
and
Oh,
you know,
he
and so
wanted to put that
he
on.
wasn't trying to.
Oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
He went to that on blast.
And he's Jamaican.
He had the Sarah.
Hey, you know what I mean? Eddie Jamaican. Hey, you know what I mean? Eddie Jamaican. He Jamaican.
Yeah, he ain't want that
He
person.
like right.
He ain't want that person.
Nah, man, because they go with that deep. They go with that deep dive background in there. And they, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he ain't want
So,
that person.
because when I first heard it, what his wife like? What? Hey, man. They like the wifey, man. The wifey, like, man, well, the wife, like, what? They can't take it to charm school. They can't, bro. You ain't never seen his. I ain't never seen his wife.
Never seen his wife.
Never seen his wife.
They ain't do no deep dive for you. Secretary of Defense.
He was Secretary of Defense, National Security Advisors, and Secretary of State.
That was just surface
Like,
level guy.
Oh no, he was never Secretary of Defense. He was Secretary of State.
Okay.
And he was National Security Advisor. Like, he got, you know, big jobs. But, you know, when it came down to,
I like Cole.
you
That
know,
was cool. He repped it. Like,
Yeah.
but they don't even talk about him a lot. I think it's somebody reaching.
yeah, because he came in endorsed Obama. Like, he was a lifetime Republican, and, you know, in all those circles. And remember, we spoke about those super delegates. They don't talk about the super delegates anymore.
I ain't heard nothing about them.
But the super delegates at the time, like when Obama got in the race against, it was what was the buddy name who had the kid out of North Carolina, John. Oh man, I can't think of his name right now. The lawyer, man, the plaintiff's lawyer, and you know, he ended up getting his videographer documentary pregnant, and she had his baby. And he was the senator, and was up for vice president and ran for president and was doing pretty well. And then they put that thing on him like they did Hart from Colorado.
I was about to say,
Yeah, but this was man, look it up right quick. His name was John Edwards. John Edwards. So John Edwards, bro. You know what I mean? With John Edwards, it was Biden back then, Obama, Hillary, and Hillary was just, you know, putting it on them. Hillary was putting it on all of them, and Obama won Iowa. Then after he won Iowa, he won South Carolina, and when he won South Carolina, that's when everybody fell out with Bill Clinton. Because Bill Clinton came out and said, "Oh, Jesse Jackson won South Carolina. So what you saying? Like what you saying? He was like, what you saying? And then all of a sudden, Bill Clinton went from the first black president to like persona non grata. Like, it was done. But she started coming out there basically saying, like, I don't even know what y'all still in this for, because with the super delegates, I done already won. That's what she was saying, like, with the planned super delegates that she had, like, I already won. But then once he won Iowa and won South Carolina, that's when all the big boys start, like, withdrawing there, because the super delegates are like Donna Brazile, like all the party higher-ups were like super delegates at the time. Good Trouble, John Lewis. And I remember John Lewis being one of the first ones to come out, basically saying like, hey, we love you, Hillary. We appreciate, like what y'all done in the black community. But this may be a one in a lifetime situation right now. Black man with a chance to win. We're gonna have to take our talents over here, bro. You know the Clintons was bad. You know the Clintons was bad. All I did for them. And especially when folks started coming out with that 1992 crimes bill, which was Biden and signed by Clinton. So, folks was like, well, what'd you really do but sell us out? You came in there with a saxophone. You came in there with a saxophone and some shades that went on Arsenio.
Smoking weed.
Yeah. Talking about I didn't inhale. Like, man.
After y'all opened up the prisoners to all private.
Right. So that's the thing. So Colin Powell, when he came out in the general election, because he didn't endorse during the primary, it was no need. But in the general election, it was a big deal when he came out and essentially endorsed Obama for the same reason. Basically, like, man, you know, like this is a once in a lifetime situation. I don't want to be on the wrong side of history.
That's right.
You know, I'm a brother, and I'm not endorsing the first brother
That could win.
that could win. So, you know, so she did not have that same momentum. She had great momentum, but I think that tells the story of America. The story of America is that, you know, I'm reading a book right now from Michael Eric Dyson. He came to Miami a couple weeks ago, so I went out and met him and got his book. And in his book, man, just reading in terms of it's the story of the vote in America. And so in the beginning, like, it was just it wasn't racial. It was property owners. And then each state, you know, started breaking it down, you know, in their own way. And it was, I think New Jersey was the only state of the original 13 colonies where women were allowed to vote up until, like, I think like the 1800s. And then they changed the laws, and so the states changed the laws. But black men were able to vote before white women and black women. You know, and so when you came with the 15th Amendment, you know, specifically, you know, allowing for the vote, you know, people who were still excluded, black women, you know, who didn't get the vote until like 1928, I believe. Like, yeah, with Susan B. Anthony. Look it up. The women's suffrage, the amendment.
Women's suffrage was the
Look it up.
early 19-teens, but black women
like
didn't get a vote
1920.
to the.
No, there wasn't anything specifically for black women. Well, anything specific for black women. Like when women's suffrage and that whole, like, they lost the ERA, like the Equal Rights Amendment failed. You know, that thing where they was burning bras and all that stuff like that. But I don't think there was a separation between black and white women when the vote finally, you know, came to women. So just reading this book, man, and just going through how we didn't get it right. And one president in particular is very similar to this president now, and that's Andrew Jackson. So I'm reading where Andrew Jackson, you know, Old Hickory, you know, who became famous, you know, from Tennessee, you know, as a general, you know, basically slaughtering indigenous people. You know, like, that's what he was. And then he the Battle of New Orleans. Battle of New Orleans, they nicknamed Old Hickory, and the War of 1812. So he runs for president. He runs for president in 1824 and wins the popular vote and wins 99 electors from the Electoral College. At the time, you had to get a majority and total. Yeah.
See, this was my understanding of how the voting rights for women went down. The women's suffrage was in the early. Women could vote 1920. That's the women's suffrage. Black women didn't get the right to vote to 65.
The Civil Rights Act.
Oh, the voting right. That's the voter. It was Civil Rights Act of 64, and then the Voting Right Act of 65. So that must have included the women at the time. So interesting.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I was
Interesting.
Civil rights to black.
So they didn't get it with Susan B. Anthony. They didn't get it. So that's crazy.
So that's because black men were voting, so but they stopped letting black people vote until 65.
No. So it wasn't that they stopped allowing black people to vote. So remember, you know, with the 15th Amendment, you know, so 13th Amendment abolished slavery.
Right.
14th Amendment granted citizenship. 15th Amendment granted the right to vote. Right? And so then it was left up to the individual states in terms of how they enforced it. So with the civil rights movement, you know, Dr. King and others were advocating for, you know, the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So the Civil Rights Act of 1964, that's where you end up with the legislation like 1981, 1983, 1985, 1987, these actions, which were against the police, like acting under color of law, because, you know, what was going on specifically in the South was that a lot of mayors, a lot of government officials, a lot of police were doing their job during the day, but throwing on Klan robes at night. And so, you know, they would be like the guys, Mississippi burning, like Goodman, Cheney, those freedom riders, those college kids, 3 white men, 1 black man that rode down the Mississippi. So they initially get stopped by the, you know, by the police, you know, and that's the whole thing when they say color of law, where, you know, some people are allowed to have lights and sirens, you know, and pull up on lights and sirens. And as a society, you're supposed to pull over for them. Now, it is, you know, like what if Freddy Krueger had a, you know, a mobile and he had lights and sirens, and you had to honor lights and sirens, and you know that, buddy, you know what I mean? Like, no, man, I'm not stopping for Freddy Krueger. You know what I'm saying? But the laws is like, hey, lights and sirens, the guy got a badge, the guy got a gun, you're going to obey, and then they end up breaking the law. So all those acts came, but then you had the Voting Rights Act of 65. And what the Voting Rights Act of 65 specifically set out to deal with was poll taxes, literacy exams, you know, so a poll tax, you know, having to pay to vote. And then on the literacy, bruh, you know, you come to vote, right? You got a right to vote. You come to vote. And they come in there with a big jar of jelly beans and be like, how many jelly beans in here? You know what I mean? And you sitting there looking, you know, it made it virtually impossible to, you know, to be able to do. Or with the literacy test, you know, you go in to vote, and then they come in there and say, okay, how many counties are in the state of Florida? And you say like, 69. Oh, then they come, name them. Then they come, like, name them. They say name them, man. So that, you know, so that's what, you know, Dr. King and the civil rights movement, because people don't understand like what the civil rights movement objective really was, and it was, you know, to grant a level playing field, you know, to what was really going on and what was really happening. So here's this story right here, man, with you know, Bishop Jakes, man, and y'all better leave Bishop Jakes alone. Folks are saying he's stressed out because he been at the Diddy parties and all that. Oh no! Let's see what happened to Bishop Jakes, man. This past Sunday, man. It's made, you know, international news right here.
Be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength, my Redeemer. Let him go in peace.
So he going now. I see the news. Ain't nobody gonna catch him.
Looking like violent up there.
Right.
Well, this make good time.
Yeah, man. They for the bishop, man. For the bishop. It looks like Diddy is coming home. looks like Diddy is coming home, and there's no way that he is going to be able to escape the moniker of being a snitch. There's no way.
You think he's coming? Think he's gonna let him out?
Yeah, I think it's based on just waiting on the ruling, but based on the in court reporting and motions that was filed, at this point, it's been over a month. Man been locked up, and that smoking gun ain't come out. Now at the last 11th hour,
can't stop, won't stop.
At the 11th hour,
something could just
at the 11th hour at the hearing, the prosecution, basically inserted some letters from former from employees, basically saying like, he running around the office just slapping people in the back of the head, throwing stuff at them, and doing stuff that people in the music industry it's. But if I tell you how many times, I had to say like, no, I can't represent you in this case, stemming from, like an engineer. I'll give you one example. An engineer out of LA called me. Basically, he's like, yo, man, buddy trying to pay me like 10 bands right now because he came in with some, said, he texts or whatever, like, yo, need you at the studio. It's like 5 a.m, whatever. I get down there, and when he finally shows up, he had like some takeout, like some McDonald's or something like that, and basically when he came in, he didn't open the door, he didn't do something or whatever, and Buddy just like hit him in the head, bashed him in the head with a gun, like just bashed him, just bashed him in the head with a gun, and he left, and he called me and he was like, his people on the phone, they trying to pay me like 10 bands right now. They trying to pay me 10 bands right now, man. He like, nah, man. I Buddy was in his feelings because he was like, you know what I mean? He could have just millywhopped the dude, but he was like, man, he didn't know with his security. he didn't know with his people. He like, man, he didn't know with his people, man. This man, you know what I mean? And so I've heard stories like that. I heard stories about, young rappers in particular, like telling OGs like, shut the F up. You know what I mean? Like, cause he the one with the bread, and they all depending on this, this young dude, these jits running around. So that does not surprise me. Just like those parties, like nobody drag you to those parties. Those were hard to get invitations to like go to this man's house. Like he wasn't like, hey, you want to come to Diddy's house? Like, nah, bro. If you got the opportunity to go to Diddy's house, you going.
You just don't stay.
You know what I mean? Right. And that's what anything. Everybody should know that, right? Like we went to.
You go to Rolex, you know that.
Right. You know what they tell you. VIP wide open. VIP wide open.
Literally.
It's wide open. It's wide open. You know what it is, bro. But I remember we went to a show in Greece. We had a show in Greece, man, and it was like the catacombs, and these folks had created this. Man, bro, it was like caves, and they had created this party thing. It was like multi-layers, man. You like walking, stepping over like a moat. You like stepping over, like all this stuff going on, right? And remember, like one of the folks in the crew came back because they was adventurous to go see like what was going on. They like, man, these dudes walking around with togas on and they don't got no drawers on. They walking around, they don't got no drawers on. They don't got no drawers on. And they're just like, man, like in different little spots. Flo, he very he a church boy, he green, man. Flo like We all stand in here. Like we all stand in our little, we all stand in here until it's time for the show. Till it's time for the show, we gonna go do the show. and we out of here. But bruh, it was like, bruh, you have folks walking around like with plates of grapes, just like walking around and like in the different, they had these little not roped off, but you know where you have like the drapes and you go in there and it's whatever. And another time we went to the AVN Awards in Vegas.
Whoa.
And folks was like, they went up in there, man. It was like, bro, you went into the, but they're like walking down the hallway, and like in this room, it's like over there, it's like it's like the movie Boogie Nights. It's like the movie Boogie Nights when they was having the parties at the directors at Burt Reynolds' house, and but it happened to be old boy wife. You know, it's like, oh, it's
the one
his
that
wife.
killed himself.
Right,
See?
it's his wife, and he just like, they're like, hey, what everybody looking at? They over there. I guess she tried to break into the industry.
But she was just always like that, and he was there, but she always used to go with everybody. So that's why he killed himself. He couldn't take it.
He just couldn't take it no more.
There's always somebody like that on the scene. Like we used to go over there with Luke, and there's always somebody who's a sucker. That's what you want to.
Is that what you call it, man?
You feel bad for them too because these guys are like good guys, and their girls are just bad. And it's like they don't know. Like, how you not know your girl is bad? Like, my God.
I mean, because you constantly trying to turn them into a housewife. Yeah. Now check this out, man. You know, I had no idea about my man Denzel, man. You know, like, yeah, Denzel's like, yeah, heroin.
Hollywood.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, Hollywood.
Denzel, the preacher's wife. Denzel. You know what I'm saying? He's like, hey, you know. He was like, bruh, I didn't even know you could be addicted to wine. This man said, you addicted to $4,000 wine.
Wow.
He was like, yeah, man. He said he said, man, I'll be on it for like 3 months. Just wine. And then when it's time to go work, I put it down, I go work, and I come back, and it's another wine fest. So there you go.
He really hid that secret.
Yeah, who's that guy right here? Oh, man, this guy right here, man. So shout out to our boys that's locked down right now, man. But here we go. So TK already serving 55-year sentence. And now you about to, start another trial right now, man. But if you don't think these folks gonna be telling, they're gonna be telling even stuff they don't even know.
I met what's his name, guy who helps manage Dirk over the weekend, and I'm gonna get him on so he could talk to us about Dirk's case. He said he about to go to court coming up. So
man, Dirk to me act like a guy who, like, I never thought Dirk did anything, but just every time I see Dirk, he just appeared to me like he had something on his head, on his mind. I mean, like he was just worried, because, bruh, to see how many deaths, when they come and talk about Chicago, and they was like, man, 4th of July weekend or New Year's Eve weekend, when they talk about how many shootings involved, and how you took out the one rapper who was in the mall, or like coming out the mall, they took him out. And I'm like, man, how these dudes from OTF really avoiding that? Like, how they really avoiding that? So
he moved here. He had lived in Fort Lauderdale for like the past 6 months.
Oh, that's why they got him from. That's why they got him down here.
Because he lived in Fort Lauderdale.
See, that's the feds for you, man. That's the feds for you.
Be patient.
They wait.
That's the feds for you. And the feds don't come. The feds don't come unless they have a minimum number of ways that they can get you. They're not gonna come for one thing. They are not coming for one thing. They usually coming for like 12. Like at a minimum, like they come in like, oh, you got me here, but what about here? And what about here? And here, and this, and what about that? and they come with videos. They come with
personal talk. Your mom,
right,
your mom
on the phone. Well, you just sitting there, you just looking at you starting to do the TD Jakes.
Right, exactly.
When you sitting there, you looking at it, you just like,
can I close your eyes?
it's like,
started something. Some people gonna start calling that a TD Jakes.
Start doing the TD Jakes. Oh wow, y'all was going back that far, huh? Y'all went there? Like, oh man, bro.
Man, I want to tell you, this weekend at the Florida Classic was like South Beach Memorial Weekend.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
Dogman went to jail Friday night. Dogman.
Yeah, I saw that.
He went to jail Friday night. They came to, they said he didn't have a liquor license. Just like you said, he pulled out his liquor license. They said, oh, okay, you got the liquor license. Well, here comes the fire marshal.
Oh, man.
But the fire marshal, they're like, you got to knock down this wall and you can party all weekend. If you don't knock down the wall, you just got to use the small side. He done already sold 400 tickets on the big side. His club holds 3,000 people. So because of what happened on Halloween.
Why he ain't knock it down?
Because this is that day. Like, it's that day.
I'm saying, why don't you get you a sledgehammer and knock it down and pay for the See, that's why they need to have me on payroll.
That's what I say. He went to jail, though. Like, they took him to jail because they asked for something, and they just took him to jail right then. Man. And so then, like, all of his parties was on 50. And they had the South Beach police on 50. Even Mike Smith went to jail.
Wow. For what?
Nothing. They just got out of the car to go to a gas station, and the police just walked up to the car, took them to jail. Like, thousands of people went to jail. They was just the ration.
So you said South Beach in terms of the law
police,
enforcement.
The police,
okay,
yes.
I thought you meant like as far as
police.
As far as the fun.
They shut down. They wouldn't let no parties go after 2:00. They shut down all the after hours. And then on Saturday night, they was like, everything got to be done by 2. Like, not after 2, you got to be done by 2. Like, they just really but they did that to Dogman's party. Pat Nix had no problem because Pat Nix did his free party for the city downtown. And, Space Jenkins, they do all this stuff during the day. I just think that they're just kind of like, Dogman, he got the car show, he got the street dog, he's got all these big events. And they just wanted to cut in because he's just, collecting a lot of money every year. I don't know, but it was definitely a different kind of classic. But it was packed, though. It definitely was still packed.
So, Mr. MAGA guy. So
here we go.
We got one in the cabinet.
Oh yeah, the token. The token. The
for HUD.
Yeah. We knew that was the position.
Oh man, are you like I got my black. I got my black. I got my black. I got my black. And he's and you could he likes him because he's a former NFL superstar who I never heard of.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Like this superstar, he's a superstar.
WFs and MTV reality show stars, everybody. I never heard of him.
I never heard of him, man. I never heard of him. So
I want to hear from Byron Donald. They say they have a small majority. They can't really take him out his seat.
Well, he just won handily because the one thing about being in the House, you got to run every 2 years. Mm-hmm. So he won handily, and serving in Congress is not a it's not a hard job, and you don't have a whole lot of power or authority. So
vote, right?
Why wouldn't why wouldn't why wouldn't he be up as much as he was out there talking and speaking, for him? But I guess he ain't qualified.
You see the coach that got caught looking at the stuff on his
Jackson coach. I sent that to him. The coach from Miami Jackson, man, the football coach, the long-term football coach, man.
Bringing championships.
bro, like you
just let
can't
him go.
Like, what's so great about this that you can't wait to get home or to put it on your phone? No, not that one.
Oh man.
Oh, the dude with the porno.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You can't get it on your phone. That's the guy right here. What's his name?
Scott Turner. Yeah.
Scott Turner. You know where he's from? I got my black. I got my black. Got my black.
That's the smile he got too.
Yeah, it's like
It's like I got him.
Guy's gonna come in and you guys like he's looking to win. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. He's like, we're gonna change lives. You wanna do all that.
This is definitely a special cat.
Like, how did that even? Bro, he done turned it, bro. He has turned this. He done turned this into a black position. Housing and urban development. Housing and urban development. That's us. Okay.
What do you think?
That's what we aspire to now.
What do you think about the Dodge and the Doge? So Doge is the name that they call the thing.
Oh, for Elon Musk.
But it's the Dodge coin. It's the Dodge.
Department of Government Efficiency.
Yeah, which is. I was like, what? I know your boy Elon Musk just sent the new Tesla tequila to 2 Chainz. So I like how they started with that. I like
because he bought a robot. 2 Chainz.
2 Chainz did? Okay.
He bought one. The first thing came out, $20,000. He bought one.
Yeah, so I guess that's why he sent him the first one to send that. Which, you know, like I said, man, I'm ready for him to get started, man. You know, I'm one of those folks. I buy American. You know, I've had, you know, the last 20 years, man. You know, American cars. Like I had a BMW. Early on, in the early 2000s, I had an Audi in 90. But apart from that, bro, you know, I like the economy. I buy American. I try to get American, and so as far as the government, man, you know, pray for the president-elect. Pray for, you know, the people that's out here, because it's a dangerous world that we living in, and you know, you need the people to go out there and maybe. The folks who did not vote for him can show true patriotism by supporting, you know, our elected officials. You know, like that's all you can do right now. I was watching The View, and the lady Anna Navarro, who on The View, man, like, you know, she been gone. I guess she just had to take like some days.
Did Whoopi walk off the other day?
No, I don't know about the other day.
I saw she walked off or something.
I don't know about the other day, but she was on there today. But just watching The View and how Whoopi has my mentality, which is the man done won. He won, so you sit back and I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna do until I see what he does.
Whoopi is the only one with that mentality.
No, I mean, you know.
What else can you do?
That's
you can't do nothing else.
Like that's what it is right now. You gotta wait and see. And I think, you know, what we have to do as a community, you know, we need to subsidize and supplement what's going on. Like, you know, I often talk about, you know, black history. Well, black history, I learned most of my black history either in the church or at the boys club, you know, in participating in brain bowls. It wasn't stuff that we learned, you know, every day in school and in class, you know. So I think these organizations that's out here, you know, we need to make sure, like, boom, like we have book clubs,
curriculum.
Yeah, we have book clubs, and in these after school programs that we're instilling in our own children, you know what it is, because other folks are not going to tell us that we're great. Other folks are not going to come in like your man, Brother Cummins did last week, you know, and come in and talk about, you know, King James being King James the Sixth from Scotland, King James the First of England, responsible for the Bible, and that he was black. They not gonna, you know, that's not stuff that folks are going to tell you. They're The average person is not going to tell you that St. Thomas, Aquinas. They're not going to tell you about St. Augustine. They're not going to tell you about, just the history. Right. They're not going to tell you our history because why? Why would they? If you're trying to keep a people down, you don't want a person to know that you haven't always been in the lower rung of society.
Our history started with slavery.
Yeah, you telling your history started there, and these good white people freed you. And when these good white people freed you, you're able to come up and all that other stuff, and then you end up like a Tim Scott running around. Thank goodness for the good old white man. Oh, thank goodness for the good old white man, boy. Ain't no telling. We still be on some molasses today coming with the stuff, man. So, as you say, Step, the Rick Ross quote, sometimes you got to break it all the way down before you can build it all the way back up. Because we really need to come together as a community. Like, we really need to come together as a community where we're not expecting anything. Some of the advances that we're talking about, the Civil Rights Act of 64, the Civil Rights Act of 65, those advancements, but what did they cost? What they cost was a vacuum in our black communities. Because as soon as the doctors, the lawyers, the accountants, the entrepreneurs, the club owners, the people could afford to leave, they left. They left and went to, places in the suburbs that we were not wanted in the suburbs. And then who took over the vacuum in there? So you had HUD and subsidized housing, which catered to single black females, and there was an incentive to have more children. There's an incentive to have more children and a disincentive to have a male in the house. And then if that man who you love, who loves you, had a felony, if you're getting, Section 8 subsidized housing,
you gotta go.
He can't go, or he gotta sneak into the house. And then as soon as somebody get mad at you, they gonna tell. They gonna run and tell. What's going on.
Even if he didn't have a felony, he couldn't be in the house.
Even your son can't be in the house. And man, sometimes sons can't even be in the house. Like that.
So so just think about it. Like it's, some people, like me included, feel like we have gotten too dependent and reliant on the government. So we gotta.
That's my number one issue.
Yeah. Yeah, like, Ronald Reagan, who, y'all don't care for, but Ronald Reagan, he was just like, nobody wants to hear I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Like, nah, it don't usually work like that. It don't usually work like that. And I tell people like this, whether it's relationships, whatever it is, when I was dating, I tell any woman that I was dating, I said, you have one time to call the police on me. One time.
Tell them that. That's crazy.
No, you have one. Bro, some people will call it be playing. Like right now, my youngest daughter is terrified. Like my high school freshman, she got some AI phone, right? She got some AI phone that whenever my youngest daughter is out of line, she's like, I'm calling Superman. Like, I'm gonna call Superman and go, and so she been threatening her. So Sasha yesterday, she on the phone and she like, she on the phone and she talking to a voice, like an AI generated voice, and they talking back.
Right.
And the voice is talking back. And it's like, yo, this is all the stuff that Samir's done or whatever. And the guy's like, oh, yes. Like coming in. I'm like, wow. And Samir just sit there. She's crying. She's like, oh, no. What are you doing? Like, no, I'm not going to do it anymore. Like, no, Superman, don't come for me. Don't come for me. But we gotta we got to do it, bro. We got to do it different. We got to do it different, man. But I'm cautiously optimistic that we've seen times like this before.